Part 2. "Who is it?" a man's voice called. "Hotel maintenance," Mark said. "Need to check the air conditioning." Footsteps approached. The door opened and Mark found himself face to face with a stranger in a hotel bathrobe. Tall, handsome, maybe 45. Everything Mark wasn't. The man's face went white. "You're not maintenance." "No," Mark said quietly. "I'm Mark Henderson, Sarah's husband." A crash came from inside the room. Something breaking. Then Sarah's voice, high and panicked. "Oh God, no, no, no." Mark pushed past the man and entered. Sarah stood by the bed, clutching a sheet around herself. Her hair was wild, her makeup smeared. The red dress lay crumpled on the floor like a broken promise. "Hello, Sarah." She couldn't look at him. Tears streamed down her face. "Mark, please, I can explain." "Can you?" Mark's voice was eerily calm. "Can you explain why you're here instead of at your parents' house? Can you explain who this is?" "David Chen," the man said quietly. "I work with Sarah." "How long?" Mark asked. Sarah's mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. 4 months, David answered. 4 months. While Mark had been working overtime to save for their Italy trip, while he'd been shopping for the diamond earrings he planned to surprise her with next week. "Do you love him?" Mark asked Sarah directly. She looked at David, then back at Mark. "Yes," she whispered. "And do you love me?" I don't know anymore." The honesty was brutal, but Mark was grateful for it. Finally, the truth. "Then choose," Mark said. "Him or me, right now, but you don't get both anymore." Sarah closed her eyes. When she opened them, she looked at David with desperate hope. "I choose David," she said. "I choose love. Real love." Mark nodded slowly. It hurt, but he'd expected it. "Okay," he said, turning to leave. "Wait." David's voice stopped him. Mark turned back. David was looking at Sarah with something that wasn't love. It was pity. "Sarah," David said gently, "I can't do this." Sarah's face went confused. "What do you mean?" "I mean, this was fun, but it was never serious. You know that, right?" The color drained from Sarah's face. "What are you talking about? You said you loved me. You said we had a future together." David ran his hand through his hair, looking uncomfortable. "Sarah, I'm engaged. Have been for 2 months. I thought you knew this was just, physical." "Engaged?" Sarah's voice was barely a whisper. "To Jennifer from accounting. We're getting married in the spring." David started putting on his clothes. "Look, you're great, but I could never leave Jennifer for for an affair." Sarah staggered backward like she'd been slapped. "But you said, all those texts, you said you were falling in love with me." "I said what you wanted to hear," David said, not unkindly but matter-of-factly. "That's how these things work." Mark watched his wife's world crumble. Part of him felt vindicated. Part of him felt sorry for her. "You used me," Sarah whispered. David shrugged, adjusting his tie. "We used each other. Don't make it more than it was." He looked at Mark. "Sorry about your marriage, man. But honestly, you're better off without her." He walked out, leaving Sarah and Mark alone. Sarah collapsed onto the bed, sobbing. "He never loved me. It was all lies. Everything was lies." Mark stood in the doorway, watching his wife fall apart. "How does it feel?" he asked quietly. She looked up at him, mascara streaking down her cheeks. "What? How does it feel to be lied to? To find out someone you trusted was just using you?" Sarah's face crumpled with understanding. "Mark, please, you threw away 8 years for a man who was just having fun with you." "I made a mistake," Sarah sobbed. "The biggest mistake of my life. Please, Mark, can we try again? Can we go to counseling? I'll do anything." Mark looked at his wife, really looked at her. Broken, desperate, finally understanding what she'd lost. 3 months ago you could have had that, Mark said, if you'd talked to me instead of cheating, if you'd tried to fix us instead of replacing me. I know I was wrong. Now it's too late." Mark pulled out his phone and showed her a photo from 2 weeks ago. A beautiful woman with kind eyes, laughing at something off camera. "Her name is Amanda. I met her at the coffee shop while you were with David. She's kind, honest, and she actually wants to be with me." Sarah stared at the photo. You're seeing someone?" "Not yet. But I'm going to be. Because you taught me something important, Sarah. You taught me that I deserve better than someone who lies to me every day." Sarah reached for him desperately. "Mark, please, I love you. I've always loved you." "No," Mark said, stepping back. "You loved the security I gave you. You loved having a backup plan while you played with David. That's not love. He walked toward the door. "Mark!" Sarah's voice was broken, pleading. "Don't leave me. I have nothing. I lost my job. David's been telling everyone at work about us. I lost you. I lost everything." Mark paused at the door. "You didn't lose everything, Sarah. You chose to throw it away. There's a difference." He left her there, alone in the hotel room, finally understanding the price of her betrayal. 6 months later, Mark married Amanda in a small ceremony surrounded by people who truly loved them. Sarah wasn't invited. Some choices can't be undone. Some bridges, once burned, can never be rebuilt. Sarah learned that lesson far too late.